Something about the way he spoke landed differently. Not the usual polished television soundbite. Not the carefully managed celebrity line about ignoring the noise. When Darragh Ennis, the man millions know as the menace on the chase, lifted the lid on the kind of messages that have come his way since he stepped into the spotlight, there was a quiet heaviness underneath the words that many viewers seemed to feel immediately. He described it as disgusting. Horrific. People accusing him of crimes. Anonymous voices pouring out things so ugly that even someone as self-assured as Darragh admitted the sheer volume can still take your breath. And yet what struck a lot of people watching or reading those comments wasn't just the abuse itself. It was the calm way he placed it in context. He pointed straight to his fellow chaser Jenny Ryan, noting how the volume and the nature of what she has faced, especially early on, has been far worse. Appearance attacks. Vicious, relentless, and, in his view, rooted in something simpler and uglier, the fact that she is a woman. That observation seemed to land with particular force among audiences who already sense the difference in how male and female faces on daytime television are treated once the cameras stop rolling. There is something quietly revealing about a man who has bottomless confidence, who can brush off strangers calling him names or inventing crimes, still choosing to speak about the double standard so plainly. It made some viewers pause. Because if someone as unflappable as Darragh feels the need to name it, what does that say about the atmosphere surrounding the women who share the same studio lights? And then came the part that many found even more telling. The deliberate wall he has built around his family. His wife, he explained, wants nothing to do with the fame. His children remain unseen, unnamed, completely outside the public glare. No photos. No casual mentions that could open a door. He called it a deliberate choice, almost a condition of taking the job in the first place. In an industry that often rewards oversharing, that quiet protectiveness felt, to a lot of people, like a rare act of care. You could almost sense the collective reaction online and among regular viewers of the show. Some felt a surge of respect. Others felt a flicker of sadness that privacy has become something that has to be fought for so hard. A few wondered aloud whether the decision speaks to how toxic the space around public figures has become, that even a quiz show chaser, someone whose job is essentially to answer questions under gentle pressure, has to plan his personal life like a fortress. What made the moment linger was the absence of self-pity. Darragh did not paint himself as a victim. He sounded almost bemused by the people who spend their energy trying to provoke a reaction from a stranger on television. He said he feels sorry for them. That they seem sad. That he simply blocks and moves on. Yet the very fact he felt it necessary to say these things out loud suggested something deeper about the culture surrounding British daytime television right now. The chase is meant to be light, competitive, full of banter and tension that never quite turns nasty. When one of its central figures has to talk about online abuse and the need to shield his family, the contrast becomes hard to ignore. Many who follow both the chase and shows like Good Morning Britain noticed how these conversations keep circling back to the same uncomfortable truth. The people who appear on our screens every morning or every afternoon are still human beings with private lives that were never meant to be public property. The cameras create a strange intimacy. Viewers feel they know them. And sometimes a minority of those viewers decide that familiarity entitles them to cruelty. Darragh's words seem to cut through that illusion. The confidence he carries on screen, the dry humor, the quiet authority when the final chase begins, all of it exists alongside a man who has decided that some parts of his life will remain completely off-limits. That choice, more than the details of the abuse itself, is what stayed with a lot of people. It felt like a small, firm line drawn in the sand. Perhaps that is why the conversation continues long after the interview itself. Because it is not really about one quizzer and a handful of trolls. It is about the price of visibility in an age when anyone with a phone can reach into someone else's life and try to damage it. and about the quiet strength it takes to refuse to let that happen to the people you love. What do you think stayed with you most when you heard him speak? The honesty about the abuse, the defense of his female colleagues, or the simple decision to keep his family completely out of the frame? I would love to know what you noticed.